Good morning and welcome to Coffee with Alain. Hope your day is starting out well. Appreciate everybody that joins me and comments live. Appreciate all of you watching replays, listening to the podcast, wherever you're listening, at enjoylifesafely.com podcast page, Apple, Spotify, wherever. Thank you to everyone. Do me a favor. Spread this podcast and spread the videos around. Let's get more people watching, learning, enjoying life safely. Let's get more people signing up for that newsletter at enjoylifesafely.com. Information on staying safe, defending yourself, enjoying life, and being exceptional. So do me a favor and help me get the word out. We'll get more people enjoying life safely. I'm drinking out of a mug with all the Disney characters sort of celebrating there because it's a celebration day today. I'll be going out to dinner and a movie later tonight. So want to knock out Coffee with Alain, get busy with a lot of work so I can go have a fun evening. Work hard, play hard, right? That's what we want to do. Good morning, Thad. Appreciate you being here, saying good morning. Today, I wanted to talk a little bit about escalation of force factors. Yesterday, I did a Zoom class, Train the Trainer for Reflex Protect. I go all over the place teaching live classes, but I also teach Train the Trainer via Zoom for organizations that maybe can't bring me there live. So I can get on Zoom and work with a trainer and get them trained and certified to teach the Reflex Protect course to their members. Yesterday, I was working with a gentleman that will then be teaching members of his church so they can carry Reflex Protect as an added element of their security and keep members of their congregation safe. So I do that a lot too. So I'm teaching live and I also teach via Zoom. One of the things in that training, when we talk about when and when not to use Reflex Protect for personal protection or defense of others, is an escalation of force factors, different things that may necessitate escalating the force using a tool such as Reflex Protect or something else. This isn't just for Reflex Protect. These factors are any self-defense situation where you may need to escalate the force to a higher level than what you're currently using. So some of these factors, obviously a big one, the possession of a weapon or even the nearness of a weapon may necessitate escalation of force to keep that person from getting the weapon, or if they already have the weapon, that escalated the force right there. But there are a lot of other things too. Size, strength, age, gender, all of those matter. And I say gender because normally women and girls are going to be smaller than men and boys. And that disparity of size, the disparity of strength, and maybe age, when you're older, you start losing some of your strength and so forth, right? So all of that disparity may necessitate the escalation of force using a tool or something to defend yourself. I mean, would you rather get into a fight with a college football player or an elementary school football player? Even though some of those elementary kids are big, they're nowhere near the size of a college football player. I mean, age, size, strength, those things matter. So those are very important. Multiple attackers, that increases the threat, necessitating a tool or something else, an escalation of force to defend yourself. Now, here's one that some people don't really think about. If you are injured, if you're exhausted, if you have a disability, maybe permanent or temporary, that may necessitate, boy, I'm having trouble speaking, better drink some more coffee, necessitate the escalation of force using a tool or so forth. Because when you're injured, you're exhausted, you have a broken leg or something's going on with you, you're not at 100% capacity to escape or defend yourself. That just made the threat greater, and you can escalate the force to defend yourself appropriately. Another thing is environment. Environmental factors can increase the threat. A big one I talk about a lot when I'm counseling people that maybe interview or counsel potentially violent people. We don't want the office set up where that person is between you and the door. So there's no escape. There's no way out if the person gets violent. That makes it a greater threat when you can't get out and you're trapped. Now, when I'm telling those people in counseling, I don't tell them to flip it around and put that person in the corner where they're between that person and the door, because if that person feels trapped, they may escalate the situation because of that feeling. Ideally, both parties have an avenue of escape, and you can maybe keep that from escalating. That's the ideal when you're counseling a potentially violent person. We don't always get the ideal. We got to deal with what we're given, but the environment does have factors that may necessitate escalating the force. Okay? And one other one is the mindset of the person. If they're in a blind rage, or if they're on a, they're mentally ill, or their mind is altered by drugs or alcohol, any of these kind of factors where they're not thinking rationally and normally, may escalate the force and escalate the threat and necessitate escalating force. So all of these different factors go into play when you're defending yourself. Whether you're defending yourself with your hands, whether you're defending yourself something like Reflex Protect or another tool. Okay? So we want to consider all of these things in that equation when we're defending ourselves. Also, if the initial efforts you're using fail, that is a escalation of force factor, maybe having to up the level of force because your initial one failed. Now, it's not like you have a checklist and you're checking these off to determine if you can defend yourself or not, or if you can pull out your Reflex Protect or not. Bottom line, you do what you have to do immediately to keep yourself and others safe. However, after physical violence, often you're going to be talking to your supervisor, law enforcement, lawyers, insurance companies. When you're talking to any and all of these type of individuals, you are going to want to articulate why you used the force you did and why it was necessary. And that's when you go back and all of these different things that were present, you start articulating why you did what you did to make sure that you not only win the physical confrontation and keep yourself safe, but you're covered for the legal aftermath that comes with much physical violence. Make sense? This is just a quick little rundown of them, but they're important concepts to understand. And that's why they're included in that Reflex Protect training that we do, because we don't want people just to know how to use this. We want people to know when and when not to use it as well. And that's very important for the institutional training. When a hospital is purchasing Reflex Protect for employees, or a school or a church or a business, they want that training. So before they give this to employees or members, the people have been trained on how to use it and when not to use it. And that's what we do. That's what I do. I was doing a class yesterday. I'll be doing more. I mean, that's what I'm doing all the time. And I thought I'd share this with you because it's an important concept for self-defense. Want to say good morning. Abigail's here and said hello to Thad. Thank you for being here and saying hi to Thad. Dixon's here. Dixon says, yes, while you can commit homicide in the name of self-defense, you're obligated not to unless absolutely necessary. That brings up another good thing, Dixon. The guy I was training yesterday for his church says he has some members that conceal carry firearms, which I'm not against. But he said that those people said they don't need this. And that's where I say you're wrong. If you carry a firearm for personal protection, defense of others, no problem with that, as long as you do it responsibly and have the proper training for the use of that firearm. But you should have a less lethal like Reflex Protect, because there will be more situations where a less lethal will be appropriate than your lethal force. And if you only have lethal force, you're limiting your options. So I say if you carry a firearm, you should also carry a less lethal. Reflex Protect is my preferred choice. Pepper spray and different things are other less lethal choices, but you should have both options because the less lethal will come up more often than the lethal force will be necessary. And personally, I'd rather stop a guy with this than stop a guy with a firearm because one, you don't have to live with killing somebody for the rest of your life. And two, you don't have all the legal proceedings that you're going to be going through if you shoot somebody. Now, there are times where firearms and lethal force are the necessary option. Not saying that's not, but I want both options available. Appreciate you bringing that up, Dixon. Want to say good morning to Jay. Good morning to Vicky. Appreciate you being here. And Jay said great points. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, everybody that joined. Thank you all that are listening later. Thank you, everybody that signed up at enjoylifesafely.com for the newsletter. Hope you're enjoying the stuff I send out every week. Go out, make it a terrific Tuesday. We'll see you tomorrow with some warrior wisdom on Wednesday.